Well, hello, my friends. Welcome to At Home with Gigi. I'm Gwen. We're going to be doing the crackle effect on this bunny from the Dollar Tree, but first we're going to give it one coat of Waverly Chalk Paint in the color Truffle. Once that's dry, we're going to move on to the next step, and we're going to add a layer of school glue. You can use whatever brand you have on hand, and it's just as if you're painting it. We're just going to smooth out the glue over the entire surface of the bunny. And you just want to make sure you've smoothed out the glue as much as possible. No really big lumps or bumps left on your surface. For the top layer of paint, we're going to be using plaster from Waverly Chalk Paint. And I've loaded my brush up, and I was trying to get one clean, smooth stroke all the way down the front of the bunny. That didn't happen. I just didn't have enough paint. The reason you want to just try and do one stroke all the way down is because the more you mix your glue and paint together, the more it will lessen your crackle effect. Now, I usually let my projects like this set overnight because I am pressed for time. I hit it with my blow dryer and let it set for a few hours before we move on. We're just going to make a little quick and simple bow, and this ribbon came from the Dollar Tree, but the ribbon that's laying on the table, I found that in the area at Hobby Lobby where they have all the fabric, and I thought it was just absolutely beautiful. And it's roses. I don't know if you can see the detail on screen, but oh my gosh, y'all, it's just gorgeous. And I had the hardest time finding peach ribbon. I don't know why, but I wanted peach for this project. Could not find it. I looked everywhere and finally found this, and I thought this was just absolutely beautiful. And I just snipped off one section. It has the two roses. As you can see, tied it in the center with some jute twine, and then we're just going to pop it on the little bunny's ear. We're going to add this little sign that says Happy Easter to the front of the bunny, and I'm going in with antiquing wax from Folk Art and just using a baby wipe. I believe I went over it twice, and just using a combination of hot glue and super glue. I'm just going to attach it to the front of the bunny. I'm adding some of the little faux Jenga blocks from the Dollar Tree to the back of the bunny because we're going to make him stand up, and our base is going to be one of those wooden cutting boards that also came from the Dollar Tree. And I just gave it a quick coat of leftover paint from the bunny, and as you can see, I'm just adding some more hot glue to the bottom of the Jenga blocks, and then I'm just going to place it on the cutting board, hold it in place until it sets up. I'm just going to add a pretty heavy layer of hot glue to the top of the cutting board, and then I'm just going to go in with my moss and add that on top of the hot glue. Just be careful you don't burn your fingers here. Now, I got a little ahead of myself here. I should have waited on adding this layer of moss until after I distressed the base of this cutting board, but I forgot and was just gung-ho about getting this moss put down. And then I'm also going to be adding in some embellishments that really I had to do a little bit of adjusting with this moss, but hey, it is what it is, and I made it work. Now we just need to make some embellishments to go on our cutting board, and we're going to be using this egg, also from the Dollar Tree, giving it a coat of Waverly white chalk paint. And I'm going in with a layer of Mod Podge, and then I'm going to let that dry because we're going to be using the iron-on method to attach this gorgeous tissue that's laying there on the table, and that came from Amazon, and y'all, I love it. It is so pretty. I'm just lining it up as best I can because I want that little bird as close to the center as I can get it. And the iron-on method is just let your Mod Podge dry, place a sheet of parchment paper on top of the tissue or napkin, iron on low heat, and see what a beautiful clean finish you get every single time. And then I'm just going to remove the excess tissue with my little finger sander. So now we get to have some fun and add some embellishment to the egg. And I had a strip of leftover lace ribbon from another project. I just cut down a small piece, and I'm going to add a teeny little dab of hot glue right in the center, hold it in place there, and then I'm just going to flip it over and then hot glue each side of the ribbon to the back of the egg. I want to add just a little more embellishment to the egg, and I've already put in 1 row of these half pearls, and now I'm just going to add another one just along the top of the ribbon, and I believe these came from Dollar General last year. And I think this was just the extra little touch this needed. I think this is so pretty. I love this egg. I had originally planned to attach the egg just directly to the cutting board, but it just wasn't sitting up high enough, so I'm adding in this little faux Jenga block, and then I'm going to add another one to the cutting board itself. That way the egg sits up just a little bit higher. And this is where I was talking about earlier, where if I had waited on adding the moss, it would have made this a little bit easier, but I just kind of pulled it up just a little bit, moved it out of the way, and then I'll just go back and adjust it in just a bit and cover everything up. I popped into Walmart the other day and found these beautiful tulips. Aren't they gorgeous? In their Easter decoration, and they had a couple of other colors, but I chose these, and I just didn't care for the greenery that was on them, so I went ahead and stripped that off, cut them down, and I've also cut down this little piece of foam, and I'm just going to hot glue that directly to the cutting board. Now again, just kind of picking up the moss and moving it out of the way, and we'll readjust all that in just a bit. And I'm going to add in my flowers. As I go along, you'll see I do kind of cut them down a little bit more, and I'm kind of moving the stems back and forth because in nature, nothing ever grows straight up and perfectly straight. So I'll just adjust those as I go along, add in little bits and pieces of greenery, and you can use any flower here, but I saw these tulips, like I said, when I ran into my local Walmart, and thought they would just complement the rest of this project just perfectly. And I love these, y'all. They are so pretty. I wanted to take a second and say thank you so very much to all of my returning subscribers and to my new subscribers. Y'all have just really helped my channel to grow and shown so much love, especially to my last 2 videos, and that just means the world to me. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart. It is truly appreciated. Sitting here looking at my cutting board from this angle, I just realized I forgot to include the footage of me distressing the cutting board. So sorry about that, guys. Don't know what in the world I was thinking, but I just took my sanding block and just went around the edges and just distressed it some to help it blend in with the rest of the project. Y'all, I'm in love with this. I think it is just so beautiful. I love the vintagey, shabby chic look or vibe that's going on here. I did go back in and add some of these little white eggs on top of the moss. I thought it just needed a little extra something. For whatever reason, it's coming across very dark on camera, but it's not that dark in person. I might go back in and add just a little bit of a brighter green moss on top of this moss that's down. I don't know. Tell me in the comments what y'all think about this. Should I go back in and add a little more green moss to it? For this project, we're going to be using this adorable little bunny piece that came from the Dollar Tree Plus section last year, and I just love it. It's so pretty, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop in this piece of floral foam, also from the Dollar Tree, left over from another project. And we're also going to be using these tulips. Now, they're pretty, but they're not the greatest quality. These came from Amazon, and the ones that I saw recently at Walmart that I used in an earlier project, they are much better quality, but I already had these white ones, so I decided just to roll with this. So I'm just removing that ugly greenery and cutting them down to size, and then just pop them into the floral foam. Now again, I'm just kind of wiggling the stems back and forth because nothing in nature ever grows perfectly straight. And to me, it just makes it look, your flower look better when you wiggle the stem back and forth just a little bit, give it a little bit of a bend. Now I'm not going to hot glue my flowers in. I'm a YouTuber. I make a lot of projects and it just gets too hard to store all of my projects, and I like to reuse things from time to time just to help cut down on cost. But if you're going to reuse this from year to year, I probably would add a little hot glue just to make sure your flowers stay in place. I'm just reusing some greenery. If y'all watch any of my videos, you know I'm talking about all the time. I keep this bag of bits and pieces just for little projects like this, and I think this bright greenery from Walmart just is so pretty and just gives the extra little pop of color that this project needs. And the same with this lavender. I bought this from Walmart a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if they have it right now, but you can find lavender at the Dollar Tree. And I think the green and the white and the purple is just so gorgeous together. And to me, it just gives it a French country vibe. I just love this. These little yellow flowers is also left over from other projects. This came from Dollar Tree several years ago. I sure wish they would get them back. I have looked every year and cannot find them. So if anybody has seen them at their local Dollar Trees, let me know. I might come visit you. I'm just going to add in a layer of hot glue just to hold the moss in place, just to make sure that floral foam is covered up. And y'all, I did buy 2 of these last year from Dollar Tree, and I think they were only like $3 each. And I cannot wait to decorate the other one. I'm going to do it exactly the same and then display them on my hutch, because I'm doing a French country theme on my hutch this year. I am so excited. This is just one of those little bunnies that you get from the Dollar Tree that you paint with the kiddos or grandchildren. And I had used it a couple of years ago on my tiered tray. And I'm just going in and giving it a couple of coats of the Waverly chalk paint in Snow White. Let that dry just a bit, and then we're just going to pop it straight into our planter. I love this. It's so pretty. This project was just so fast and so easy. I can't wait to create one more and add them to my hutch. And y'all, I think it's just adorable. But you got to tell me what you think. Do you like the little white bunny? Or do you like the eggs? I decided to pop some eggs in there just for some color and just to change it up a bit. But I can't decide. Do I want the bunny or do I want the eggs? Or since I have 2 planters, do I want to do one with the bunny and one with the eggs? So y'all tell me down below, what are your thoughts? For this project, we're going to be using this metal tray from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to give it 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint in Snow White, and once it's dry, we're going to move on to the next step. I'm just going to use this broken ruler, which fits very well inside my tray, and this brown color pencil, and I'm just going to draw in some faux shiplap lines. And then once I'm finished doing that, I'm just going to rub my finger over the lines and just kind of smudge them out just a bit. So we're going to make our metal tray look like it's a picture frame, and I'm going to be using this antique gold color from Folk Art. And I originally started out with this paintbrush, just did not care for it. So I switched over to one of those cheap makeup sponges from the Dollar Tree, and I like that effect much, much better. And I'm just going to continue to go around the outside edge of the tray because it's kind of raised, and just smudge it with the paint, and then I'll go back over it, and if I get too heavy-handed, with a baby wipe and just wipe off the excess. We're going to be using this beautiful napkin, and I believe this came from Napkin World because I got this last year. I haven't ordered any this year. But anyway, we're going to be using this to create the picture on the inside of our tray. And I'm using my favorite method to remove the excess napkin. That's just a tiny paintbrush and some water. And I'm just very gently separating it from the rest of the napkin. You can certainly use scissors if that's what you want to do. I just like the finish that it gives around the edges of the napkin. And to me, it helps it blend into your surface better after you Mod Podge it, decoupage it to your surface, but it's strictly your decision on how you want to do that. I've gone ahead and removed both of the plies because this is a 3-ply napkin. You definitely want to do that or it will not adhere to your surface. And I'm going to be adding some little tiles in that says Behold, and of course the Lamb of God. And I'm putting those in so I can make sure I get the placement of my lamb just right. I'm just putting down a very thin layer of Mod Podge because this napkin is very, very thin, and I don't want to put too much and tear it. And if you're wondering why I'm holding it like that, I have a tendency to forget where I want to place my napkin if I pick it back up. So I just use my finger to hold it in place until I get the Mod Podge down. And then I use my favorite method when I'm Mod Podging or decoupaging like this, a piece of saran wrap. And it just works so well to smooth out any air bubbles or excess Mod Podge that might be up under your napkin. And as you can see there at the very top or end of the little lamb is kind of a hole. I got a little gung-ho removing the napkin, and I shouldn't have removed that flower, so I just went back and just cut it out and just very carefully and lined it up and just smoothed it out with my piece of saran wrap again, and to me it just looks pretty seamless. You can't really tell that I had to patch it. And then of course I'm going to go over everything with another layer of Mod Podge just to seal it all in. Before I move on to the next step, I did go in with my blow dryer on high heat and just made sure that the Mod Podge was completely dry because I didn't want this moss to adhere to my napkin. And then as you can see, I just put down a good layer of hot glue, and then I'm just adding in the moss, and I'm just going to do that all the way across the bottom of the tray. Just be careful you don't burn your fingers. I'm just going to use a little bit of hot glue and go ahead and attach the tiles to the tray. You can definitely use E6000 or my favorite Gorilla Gel glue if you prefer to do that instead of hot glue. So I originally planned to just stop right here. I thought it was just pretty as it is. But the next day I got up and I'm like, oh no, it needs something else. You know how we crafters are. So I got to pulling the different ribbons that I had on hand, and all of these are from the Dollar Tree. And couldn't find any purple. I wanted purple, couldn't find it, so I just decided to go with the pinks and the cream colors. And as you can see, I'm just tying it off with some jute string, and then I added that little bead in the center just to cover up the jute twine. And then I'm just going to cut it all down and make it fit a little better and just pop it in the corner with some hot glue. And then of course, after sitting there looking at it just a bit, I realized I wanted to add something else. So I decided I wanted to add a cross, but I didn't have one small enough, so I just went outside, got 2 sticks, cut them down to the size that I wanted, and I roughed it up just a little bit with my sanding block. I'm not sure why I did that, but I did. And then I'm attaching it with some hot glue, just kind of holding it in place until it sets up. And I want to call this string jute string, but I don't think that's what it is, y'all. It's just not coming to me. But anyway, I've had it forever, and I'm adding just a teeny bit of hot glue to the back, and I'm just going to tap it down with my little tool until that sets up. And then I'm just going to very gently, so as not to pull it loose, loop it around the cross, 2 loops on each side. And then I'll attach it again in the back with a little more hot glue. I'm just going to lift up the moss just a little bit and put in a good amount of hot glue because I really want this cross to stay in place. And then I'm just going to hold it there until the hot glue sets up. And y'all, I am so sorry. Did not realize that my SIM card had filled up and stopped recording. As you can see, I put some little lavender and some little yellow flowers around the cross. I basically did the exact same thing that I'm doing on this side of the tray, just holding the lavender in place until it sets up. And then I'm just going to go in and add these little teeny tiny flowers. As y'all can see, they're definitely Dollar Tree flowers. I did not get those this year. I believe these were last year, maybe even the year before. If y'all listened to any of my videos, y'all know that I have a ton of florals that I'm trying to work my way through. So I am really trying not to buy anything new this year until I use up some of my stash, but we'll see. I do need some greenery, and I have to make a trip to Michael's soon, so we'll see how that goes. But what do you think? Isn't it gorgeous? I just love it. I think it is so sweet, and I love this saying, "Behold the Lamb of God." I do think it would look better with a little bit of purple or yellow ribbon thrown into the bow, but oh well, I worked with what I had on hand, and I just love this. I think it is so pretty, but I would love to know your thoughts. Well, thank y'all so much for stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you have, I hope you'll give me a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. And if you're looking for more Easter inspiration, I have a video right here on the screen that will give you some wonderful inspiration, and I hope y'all have an amazing and blessed day.